Here's a lot. There are a lot of issues with this, but there are now 10 members of House of Torture. Now you would need 2 10-man tags just to get everybody on the card. Just 4 guys has formally joined Hantai. Is the idea a clear line of good versus bad with some sort of end game type of battle coming? I mean, what is this? That we're just going to have only 2 groups? Well, there's black hats versus white hats. The problem is House of Torture was annoying enough because they don't do the distractions and the ref bumps well. It always looks silly. The ref gets nudged a little bit and he's down for 10 minutes while they do 15 things, or the referee has to pretend he doesn't see stuff that's happening right in front of him because, again, this isn't the kind of stuff New Japan does well. They bury the referees with it, or they make them look silly, or a lot of the House of Torture stuff was just goofy. Mm-hmm. The issue to me now is that was annoying enough, irritating enough when it was on every show. With 10 members, you are talking 2 to 3 matches per card of this type of crap. This isn't why we like New Japan. This isn't why you go to watch New Japan, to see piss poor refereeing. You can do that with AEW, for God's sakes. And at least with some of this stuff, they, like I said, they just don't, it's not good in that it always looks kind of doofy. Like the referee barely gets nudged out for 5 minutes. I mentioned that already. I'm just saying that this is all the stuff you're like, okay, it's once a night. Wrestling's a variety show. This one match isn't going to be great because they're going to do all this, but then we can move on. Now we can't. Now they're involved in almost every feud in the company, it feels like, and it's going to be at least 2 or 3 times a night. We're going to be seeing this bad version of something else that's not really what we like about Strong Style or about New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I know that this isn't going to be forever, and eventually this will all come to a head or whatever. But in the meantime, this is not going to be fun to watch or enjoyable to watch. We've gotten a taste of it on Soul, where now there are 2 10-man tags. The ones with Douki and Sho and Kanemaru haven't been bad because at least the wrestling is good. The ones with Sanada and Chase and Fale haven't been very good. But now we're going to have to, again, I mentioned this, like instead of settling down for a good match 2 to 3 times a card, we're just going to be waiting for the bad ref bump. And nothing's going to happen until then. And that's disappointing to me. And it's taking enjoyment away because this isn't the version of the company I want to see. And it's not why New Japan is an alternative to all that stuff. The skits and the constant interview segments and chasing people around backstage for conveniently placed cameras and all this kind of stuff about American wrestling that has exhausted me. And that's not directed at either one of the main companies, it's both of them. It's just, I can't do it. And to bring this House of Torture stuff up and down the New Japan card, so now it's consistent all the way through a show, mentally that's exhausting to me. I don't want to see this. And it's troubling for me that we're going to have to go through a long period of seeing House of Torture do this over and over again, night after night. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'm overreacting because House of Torture doesn't do matches without this stuff. And now there are too many of them to avoid in a card. So this is troubling to me. And I don't think it's what the fan, I understand that they're a little more over in Japan than they are with the American fans. I understand that. But I also feel like, remember, it wasn't terribly long ago that Tanahashi came out as president, half in character, half out, and kind of apologized for all the overbooking in the House of Torture stuff. Now it seems they've doubled down on it.
So, I don't think you're overreacting either. And I just wanted to make that clear before I go into my own personal soliloquy about how I feel about House of Torture. And that is, last week on this show, we talked about this being a House of Torture event with the way that everything was laid out. Exactly how important this was all going to be treated was going to be made clear by the impact that House of Torture had. And for you to be frustrated, upset, feeling like this is not what you signed up for, to get multiple House of Torture multi-man matches that are basically the back and forth that you see, I get it. I really do. I'm just not there yet. Like, I am willing to just sit and take in the threshold and see where this goes. Is this going to end up being like a whole archetypal Joseph Campbell good versus evil kind of thing with Goto versus evil kind of thing? I don't know. I don't think that's terribly exciting, but I also see one big group of good guys, one big group of bad guys, a couple of unaffiliated people who could be leaders of their own factions, and you have a couple of these other factions that are hanging on by a thread. I'm seeing these factions, and I don't feel like a whole lot of them fit in these big versions of them, and there could be splintering off of these things. They're pooling them all together, and they could potentially be splitting all of these guys up into another thing. If this ends up being what we get out of House of Torture, and for the next 6 months, you and I are going to have to eat cereal and watch a House of Torture match as they're using clubs and whatever, that's not going to be a good time. And we're going to be talking about it every week, how much we don't enjoy it. I'm not necessarily sure that that's where we're headed right now. But I'm more open-minded than not.
But where else could it go? I just don't. Yeah, this is what House of Torture does. It's literally the definition of it, is that they don't want to have good matches. They want to throw it in your face. Well, I want to watch good matches, and I know it's all the story. But here's the thing, too. It has to go on for a while, and then if House of Torture eventually loses or whatever, if they're going to split half the company into House of Torture, it feels like they kind of are. That has to go on. And then how do you even, you're not going to turn half of them babyface in 3 months. This is going to go on for like a
but
year.
They could split into another heel group. Like, there could be.
And stop cheating?
No, they'll just do a different form of cheating. It's like, not all of the, you still got Jake Lee out there. Some of these guys aren't Bullet Club. Bullet Club is now a babyface group. Some of the people that are currently injured on Bullet Club are injured. It doesn't necessarily feel like David Finlay and Ghetto are on the same page here. I'm just saying there's stuff out there that doesn't necessarily make me feel that, like, the die is cast, the concrete is set, this is how it's going to be. There's just it. Literally just had a backstage comment where it's like, I guess we're joining this faction. It's like, how do you guys feel about it? Okay, we're doing that. And it's just one of those, like, we're getting a lot of that throughout this thing. But 3 months ago, there were 2 factions that existed that don't exist now. And I'm not necessarily sure in 2 months there won't be 2 new factions that exist that don't exist right now.
But people are already going to be leaving House of Torture to join them?
No, I mean, Shingo and Yoda could both have their own factions with people following under them easily.
But I'm still saying you still have 10 members of House of Torture that are going to be going around doing these shenanigans in other matches. It's just too many of these guys. It's going to weigh down the whole company, and it's going to take a long time for them to switch anybody out of those positions into something else. So these people are in House of Torture for a while, wrestling House of Torture for a while, and that's not good news. It's not good news.
And I'm more open-minded to you than you on this, because when they first established House of Torture, when Evil defected from LIJ, they put the title on him, and then they took the title off, and you kind of knew what it was right then and there. I think right now there is a possible opportunity to rehabilitate what House of Torture is and make them more of a viable work rate heel group if you were so inclined right now. I'm not saying that they are.
What evidence did you see of that on Sunday?
I am just looking at all of the landscape and just thinking, hey, if you wanted to do this, I'm playing the advocate. I am not doom scrolling. I am not doing anything other than just trying to look at this from a business aspect of what they could do, as opposed to just being like, this is bad and they should not do this whatsoever. They've decided to do it. So now I'm looking at it like, how can you make this work?